You've been telling yourself a lie. You've been going around a high performer, high achiever, telling yourself that you don't have enough motivation. You don't have enough time. You're not good enough. But if that were true, you wouldn't even be here, because you realize you actually have a lot of motivation, right? You had the motivation to start the last program you did and the 10 programs before. You had the motivation to eat the pizza when the program got too hard. Both of those, both getting on the plan and getting off the plan, were motivation. Now, yes, I can see how one aspect of motivation takes me toward a goal I had, and the other one takes me away from that one goal I had. But when you pause and you ask yourself, why was I motivated? When I said I have this goal for myself to get in great shape, why was I motivated to eat the pizza? And you realize that there isn't just one goal that drives our lives, that there's actually a sequence of different values that we bring with us. And if we go too far, living life for too long, not honoring all those values within us, we start to burn out. That's what I found is really the source of burning out. A burnout is not because you're working too hard. It's that you're detached from your values for so long that eventually, when it comes down to it, and you got to put, I'm miserable, but I'm trying to get in shape against, I can't keep doing this anymore. Of course, you're going to eventually be motivated to keep the rest of your life afloat and not have this one singular goal take you there. Of course. So I want you to see that there's actually two selves that have been running the show this whole time. There is the striving self, which if you're watching this video, you're most likely in a striving position. You are chasing for more. You're willing to do more, to be more, to try more, to change more. And then at some point, inevitably, in this health and fitness journey, that striving self, like a rocket ship, loses fuel. And it starts to fall back down. And the gravitational pull of the earth that pulls that rocket when it doesn't have any energy, what direction does it pull it in? That is what we call our surviving self. And there's nothing wrong there. Actually, it's really fascinating that there's two systems that work, and they can either work together or they'll keep fighting each other and burn ourselves out. What is the survival self? What is this gravitational pull? In very simple terms, it is your core fundamental needs and values. I'll give you a very quick example. I was talking to one of my clients. His name's Quincy. And this is he's one of the smartest guys in the world when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, one of the top guys. And he had a very simple example of, hey, he told me when we first started, I need to stop eating these Oreo cookies. And what was funny is his surviving self kept reaching for them. And he kept feeling guilty about it because the striving self didn't feel like there was any room for that cookie. Because we can't actually get in great shape as long as we have this cookie. And as I started to ask Quincy further, well, what is it that's so wrong about the cookie? He said, well, obviously the sugar prevents us from becoming healthier. But then I pushed Quincy more and I said, okay, put the striving self aside for a second and let's get curious about what the surviving self is looking for. And Quincy said, okay, well, I guess I reach for the cookie because it's sweet, and I really love sweets. I love the texture. I like that crunch factor. It gives me an immediate reward because I'm literally working 12 to 16-hour work days. And between meetings, it's really nice to just have something really quick that makes me feel good. And it doesn't take any time. It's really nice, and convenience is key in my life at this stage. So what Quincy was telling me is that his surviving self needed convenience, like texture, and it likes sweets. And his striving self agrees with those things. His striving self, the only issue with that is the striving self sees that when you have something that has a lot of sugar, eventually it will crash your blood sugar and you will have low energy. But the striving self by itself will say no to everything of the surviving self until you realize what Quincy really wants is something that's sweet, has good texture, that's convenient, takes no time to prep, and maintains his energy throughout the day. Now, the solution to that, that's where we start to discover what the real self really wants. And in the example with Quincy, two things happen. One, I found a very high protein, zero sugar protein cookie that takes no time to prep, is very delicious, and he tried it and he absolutely loved it. And so we basically replaced his Oreos. We didn't restrict and remove the Oreos. We replaced them with these cookies at his desk, in his fridge, in his car, at his office, so that his environment now, because he's just the person that would reach for the easiest thing, now he's reaching for the thing that will take him to his goals. The sooner the surviving self and the striving self embrace, the sooner the burnout disappears, and the sooner a deep underlying power within you comes out. You don't need motivation. You have motivation. You always have had motivation. That's why in phase one, what is the work we're doing? It's not about how much fat we're losing. It has nothing to do with the muscle we're building. It has to do with pausing, stopping, and getting curious about what am I eating and why do I want to eat it? When we can be curious about something that used to make us shameful, now we can start having fun and feel like we're almost cheating because there's nothing wrong here. Phase one is about taking photos of what the surviving self has always done. It's about putting the striving self on pause for a week, for 2 weeks, and just take photos in the app of what the surviving self has needed and journaling about it, writing about it to me in the fitness app, telling me what those things mean. Because once we do, we'll have all the tools and the values that you've always needed to build the plan for the real self. Because the striving self, that's me. I got you covered. I know what's the roadmap and the numbers for fat loss. But as long as we don't have your values, how are we going to build a plan that's going to get you there in a way that you'll keep the weight off and you'll stay in shape for the rest of your life? And in another way to say it, this is the only way you're going to do it. So that's what phase one is about. If you have any questions, shoot me a message in the fitness app.